Don't you want the story twice? Look no fear, the studio say remake sound.
Okay, now I'm recording. I think this is okay. It might be a little too quiet. That's probably fine.
Sounds fine to me.
That's probably fine.
That's probably fine.
It's probably fine.
It's probably fine. Dan can crank it up if he wants to. If
Crank
he sees
it,
fit.
Dan. Hello and welcome to Once More with Feeling, a podcast about great original films, and they're often not so great remake, although in this case, pretty cool remake.
Yeah.
Pretty
Both of
fun
them.
remake. Mm-hmm. We watched Nosferatu, the 1922, holy cow, so old, German expressionist film, and the 2024 Hollywood Robert Eggers movie. I never know if it's Robert or Roger. Because I confuse Robert Eggers with Roger Ebert
Why?
all the time. Because it's the same.
R.E.
It's the same names.
Not the same name at all.
Robert Eggers is the Count Orlok of Roger Ebert.
Roger Ebert's Dracula, I see.
Yeah. That's what I was expecting a bigger laugh for that one. Well, that's fine. I'm Gus Schiff. I am a screenwriter, improviser, nonprofit worker, failed diplomatic candidate.
Gus will not be going to Washington.
Turns out you got to study for that shit. Who knew? I'll try again in a year when I'm allowed.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm Mariana. I'm a YouTube film critic and media scholar.
Nebula invitee.
Nebula creator.
How can we find your Nebula stuff?
Well, gosh, if you go to nebula.com and type my name in the search bar, you will see me there. But if you go to, let's see if I can remember it. It's go.nebula/The Morbid Zoo, I think. And if you follow that link, then you can get 50% off a yearly subscription or 40% off a lifetime subscription, which is a pretty good deal.
That's
pretty cheap.
That's a pretty great deal. We should put that in the show notes.
That's a good idea, Gus.
Can you remind me to put that in the show notes? Okay.
We're both going to forget.
Yeah. If it's not in the show notes, email withfeelingpod@gmail.com.
You forgot to say that we also watched the 1979 movie.
We did.
Nosferatu,
the vampire.
Yes.
Or, in the original German, Nosferatu, the Phantom of the Night, but in German. But I don't want to say it because I've decided to abandon all foreign languages until I become a diplomat. The Werner Herzog movie, which is pretty cool. But that's just for patrons who pay us money because it just felt redundant. But I guess they just want that. I think they just like our voices.
Well, I mean, it is a podcast
honest.
about movies and remakes of movies. They're all going to be redundant.
Yeah.
By nature.
Anyway, let's talk about that first. Tell me a little bit, if you don't mind, about 1922. What's
Oh
the
man,
deal?
1922. Not a good year, if you can
What?
believe it.
Why not?
Great.
But what about the Roaring Twenties?
Well, I mean, as you and everybody who has any association with history beyond just pop culture, the Roaring Twenties were an economic boom, a cultural boom.
Right.
Pretty shitty in a lot of other ways.
What? Tell me more.
And this is in America, where things were relatively good. Even then they were shitty. But in oh my God, Germany in 1922 is not doing great.
Why not?
Well, I think this is the height of inflation. 7,000 German marks per American dollar toward the end of 1922.
Wow.
This is very much the time when we start seeing those a wheelbarrow full of cash to buy a loaf of bread type images. Walter Rathenau is assassinated. Weimar Republic.
Who's that?
Well, he's a diplomat, unfortunately. So I don't know if that will damage your sympathy for him. He's a Weimar Republic foreign minister who was killed because some far right nutcases who I don't think
say
were
Nazi.
They weren't Nazis.
Yeah, but like,
There were many far-right nutcases running around in this era, which is like a pretty disturbing thing to think about, considering our own era. So there were not just the Nazis. Hitler was like kicking around in the area at the time, but there were also all these other little groups. And one of them,
Batsies.
and one of those groups decided that he was an elder of Zion and needed to die. So they killed him, and this very briefly acts as a kind of unifier.
By elder of Zion, do you mean Jewish person?
Jewish, but a particular kind of like boss Jew, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the Protocols of the Elders of Zion was a horrible, piece of propaganda literature that was being passed around at the time. This is like the conspiracy of like Jews running the world is old, but the kind of modern anti-Semitism that we confront now, which is not like criticism of Israel's genocidal behaviors in Gaza, but is instead this grand conspiracy about how Jews literally run the world, that they've got their little fingies in every aspect of society and media
Which
and
is
government.
not
It's
true,
not
and
true.
was invented during Romanov Russian thing to distract from their own disasters.
Not great. So the Protocols of the Elders of Zion is one such piece of propaganda for that conspiracy that's kicking around Europe in this day. So this briefly acts as a kind of unifier for Weimar Germany. Everybody's really upset by this, but 15 years later, after the Nazis take power, all memorialization of him is banned. Bertolt Brecht's first play is staged. That's cool.
What is?
Bertolt Brecht, the playwright.
Bertolt Brecht?
You don't know who Brecht is?
Brecht! I've never heard his first name.
Yeah, well, he's on the scene now.
I've never heard his first name.
You've only ever seen the word Brechtian.
I think I said this last time. I think I've become stupid. And there's just
We've had this conversation over and over. I'm constantly convinced I'm getting dumber.
I think more and more evidence that I'm just dumb. Like my best years intelligence wise were like 18 to like
all
26
downhill from here.
And it's just I'm done. Oh well. Anyway, Brecht's play comes out.
Yeah, the Lincoln Memorial is finished. So that's fun news from the USA. Joseph Stalin is appointed General Secretary of Soviet Russia.
Fun.
So that happens in April. In May, a bunch of priests and a couple of not priests, some laymen, are executed for opposing the Soviet government's confiscation of church property. Mussolini becomes prime minister of Italy, and the world is introduced to state fascism, baby. Hollywood Bowl opens. And Vegemite is invented. Big uh-oh.
Oh no.
Yeah, oh no.
Australia's worst ever export.
And of course, Nosferatu, the first vampire movie, is released. So, oh shit, I forgot to do the synopsis. Oh, damn it. Okay, let's see. Whatever, I can wing it. I know Dracula. This is just Dracula.
This is not Dracula. This is Nosferatu. It's different.
It's Dracula.
It's legally distinct.
Hang on, let me pull up the Wikipedia article.
Dracula
so
is not referenced in Nicktoons. Nosferatu is referenced in SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yes, he is. Everybody's first introduction to Nosferatu. I'm so certain of it. Our entire generation learned who Nosferatu is through the hash slinging slasher. Okay, so in the 1830s, in the town of Visburg, Thomas Hutter gets sent to Transylvania.
Can I ask you a question?
What?
Are you just reading the Wikipedia
For
plot
now.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'm going to skip a bunch of this. This is way too long.
Okay.
So Thomas...
So our listeners, the people who are tuning in for the second Nosferatu discussion, are listening to you just read Wikipedia right
Shut up!
now. Okay, just want to be clear.
So Thomas Hutter is a real estate broker. That is his job. And for people who have never seen Dracula or not familiar with it or haven't thought about it in a long time, it's Dracula.
Nosferatu. It's different.
It's an oft overlooked fact about these stories, Nosferatu and Dracula, but very, very important to them, as we will discuss later on in this episode, that this is a real estate drama. This entire thing happens because Count Orlok, in this case, wishes to move from Transylvania to, in this case, it's Germany, and in the original, it's England. So Thomas Hutter goes to Transylvania to complete this real estate deal. Little does he know that his boss, I guess, yeah, he doesn't have a first name, Herr Knock, who is the sort of Renfield figure of Nosferatu, is like he's Renfield. He's the Dracula henchman, you know, and he's sent him there in order to sign this mysterious contract, whatever. And so Hutter ends up at Count Orlok's house. They sign the contract. Strange things happen. He cuts his finger, and Orlok goes crazy. He wakes up in the night with puncture wounds in his neck. And Orlok sees that he has a locket of his wife, Ellen, and becomes very fixated on this locket. One evening, because Orlok won't let him leave, he's sitting in his tower room and sees Orlok outside preparing for his move, I guess. He's filled a bunch of coffins with dirt and is piling them on top of that. There's a bunch of like really funny shots of Orlok just like hoisting these giant wooden boxes around, and it's so unvampiric, I feel. And one of these boxes, he puts all these boxes on a horse-drawn carriage and then gets into the top box, and then the box just like closes itself, and
he uses his psychic powers.
He does. He uses his psychic powers, and there's a cute little bit of stop motion animation with where the lid kind of floats on top of the box, and the carriage rides away. As in Dracula, he basically mails himself through a ship while Hutter jumps out the window, which I was kind of surprised. I didn't remember that being, because I watched the new Nosferatu first. And I didn't remember that being in the original one. And it absolutely is. I thought they just kind of like punched that up for dramatic effect. But no, he jumps out the window.
Yeah. But finally, he falls onto like the floor, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah?
I don't remember.
He ends up back home. But while all of this has been happening, Ellen has been sleepwalking. She's been waking up and saying strange things. And since Hutter has left her with his friends, they're, bringing a bunch of doctors around to see what's wrong with her and can't figure it out. Hutter ends up going home around the same time that Orlok arrives in Visburg. And he has brought the plague with him. There's rats everywhere. Everybody's getting sick. Knock has gone insane. He's been put in the mental asylum. He escapes, though. And then he's lynched, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the townspeople blame him for the plague and chase him down. And around, I think, that same time, I think what happens is Ellen reads a book. And in the book, it's like a book about vampires and how the only way to stop a vampire is...
It's the book that Hutter found, in Transylvania that he brought.
That makes sense.
Him, I think.
That makes sense.
Because Hutter makes it home to Visburg.
Yes. So she reads this book that says the only way to kill Nosferatu is for a pure-hearted young maiden to offer herself up willingly and distract him until the sun rises. And that's what she does, and the sun rises, and this is the first time that we ever see the sun kill a vampire on film. And that's the end of the movie.
Tell me more. Tell me about the production. Tell me about Max Schreck.
Nosferatu, German Expressionist masterpiece. We talked about German Expressionism with Caligari. So if you all have done the reading, you should know what German Expressionism is all about. But it is interesting to note that this iteration of German Expressionism is a lot different. This doesn't look at all like Caligari. In Caligari, the cinematography is very focused on warping the environment. All the sets are weird, but the people are stable. There's this like really huge focus on artifice and the way that the human mind like sort of distorts its environment, and that's not what's happening here. Instead, Nosferatu is interested in a couple of things that are still German expressionist. It's trying really hard to sort of draw out the inherent distortions of naturalistic environments. That's why all the high contrast lighting, the kinds of almost cubist environments that Caligari is doing, Nosferatu kind of achieves through high contrast and shadows, which is very cool. It's like concentrating all of its real German expressionist artifice in the vampire Nosferatu himself, who of course looks insane.
Is Nosferatu one of the first like films that really dealt with that kind of contrast, or like?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it was like that shot of his shadow on the wall with his claw reaching out for the door. Very innovative for the time. It was really weird because film was so new and because it was still very novel, and it made it like intuitively makes no sense to not pay attention to living things on the screen. Like it feels like the camera wants to be looking at faces and bodies and whatever. So to leave the body outside the frame and focus on the shadow, very strange. And that's cool. Very German expressionist. It's
really interesting looking at this movie and looking at Caligari, and growing up after these films, but also many other films like that have introduced cliches or introduce kind of new techniques. Mm-hmm. It's kind of normal, and then sometimes you go back and you watch the first version of that and you're like, well, I've seen it done better already. But for Nosferatu, it's really good. It's really well done, right off the bat, and I think that's worth noticing, just in terms of like the fact that not only was this quite new, if not like first ever technique, but it was done very well and better than a lot of filmmakers, trying to do that 100 years later do.
We're like in this period of film history are sort of beginning to move away from the idea that the purpose of film should be to record stage productions. Movies like this are like starting to introduce the idea that no, there's something special about the frame and the fourth wall that you're like sort of peering into. And there's something very eerie and odd about that feeling that I want to talk about in a second, that it's very voyeuristic, because you're watching all these people who don't know they're being watched. And so the idea that a frame should be composed and it shouldn't just be like capturing whatever's in front of it, or that at least frame composition is a legitimate technique, that is very new. Like there's that one scene that Herzog reproduces in his version where Orlok like turns around. It's such a good performance. He looks like such a corpse. It's like you can like hear his joints creaking, Yeah. He looks so stiff, and he turns around and it's like just his face floating in a frame of black. Very cool.
That one when they're at the table. That was such a good shot.
So cool.
I was like, I jaw dropped. You don't expect your jaw drop when you look at a black and white movie, but then it's like you'll see that, or you'll see like a Buster Keaton stunt, and you're like,
oh my God.
In the holy fuck? How?
Yeah.
How? How did that happen? That
shot toward the very, very end, it's one of the last shots in the movie, and you can tell that Murnau was really proud of it when Orlok is feeding on Ellen, and it's such a elegantly composed shot. Like it's breaking every rule, Yeah. Everything is a little off center. Everything is in shadow, and the only thing that you can see is like a little bit of the frame of the window, like a corner of the table with some flowers on it, and just Orlok's like big bald head just like feeding on this lady. It's so creepy, and he lingers on it for like 45 seconds. It's so good.
He's a very talented filmmaker.
Yeah, F.W. Murnau.
No surprise.
No. And he was incredible. His life was cut short very tragically in a car accident when he was like 43. Yeah, very sad. So he was big in the Berlin art scene. At the time, he was openly gay, which is pretty crazy.
Why
fun fact.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Why is it that all good film development starts with gay people?
It's
Him?
weirdos.
Alan Menken.
Gotta protect the weirdos.
Or maybe not Menken. Ashman.
Ashman, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wish I was gay.
The fun fact I was gonna give you is that F.W. Murnau was at least 6'4", maybe 7 feet tall.
What?
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's very strange to think about. Because everybody was short then. Nobody had good nutrition. Caligari had just come out and had been at least reasonably successful. So expectations were that Nosferatu was going to do at least similarly. It didn't. There was a lot of buzz at the beginning. That faded away pretty fast. It was made by this studio called Prana, which had been constructed around this like esoteric occult mysticism philosophy. Their plan was to make like all these occult movies, and that would be their like film business model.
What?
Yeah.
This is the studio that made this movie?
Yeah.
We're making this movie to like convince people that this is real?
Not that this is real necessarily, but that like this is the philosophy that they were approaching this piece with. They were very sincere about their occult leanings. But Nosferatu didn't do that great, so they made this one movie and then died. Prana,
that's like
what could have been.
That feels like if the Church of Scientology made like a killer. I don't know anything about Scientology.
Like if Battleship Earth had been good.
Yeah, but like not that good. And then Scientology broke. And then in 100 years, they're like, damn.
Yeah, just generation-defining film. Extremely influential on the language of entire genre. This movie was harmed by a lot of the protectionist film policies that we talked about last time. All these countries were sort of competing with each other and kind of, but not in a Smithian way. You know, they did not believe in actual exchange that like a rising tide lifts all ships. This is a very sort of zero-sum approach to the film industry at the time.
Yeah, because you mentioned last time in the Caligari episode 2 years before that each sort of nation was trying to dominate all film.
Yeah, so you super didn't want to be importing foreign movies and like, you know, implying that this is also film. It isn't. So Nosferatu's unable to get very wide distribution. I don't think it even made out of the country for quite some time. Wow. And of course, they were immediately sued for copyright infringement. They changed, so like supposedly they changed all the names in the movie to avoid accusations of copyright infringement, but that can't possibly be because in the opening credits they say it's based off Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Well, I wonder because the version I watched was from Canopy, and they at the beginning they were like, we got these stills from here, we got these stills from here, because after this lawsuit they lost and they burned all the reels that they could find, and the only reason we know about this movie, or the only reason we have this movie, is because they just forgot a handful of reels in a couple different theaters.
They forgot. I think it's more like a couple people did some crimes. a couple people were like, "No, this movie's really cool. I think I'm just going to take this home."
Good for them.
Good for them.
Thank you, criminals. These specific criminals.
Yes, these specific criminals.
So I'm what I think, because I noticed a very significant quality change from those opening titles to the actual film of the movie, and then also all the inner titles looked way too high quality. So I think that, like, I saw in the credits they put this version together in like 2011. So I feel like they added that because of the copyright lawsuit. And
possible.
I feel like it wasn't originally there. How do you know how they found out about it if they didn't screen it in Britain, or am I being stupid for thinking that
I don't think that's
100 years ago they were like that incapable?
I don't think it's stupid exactly. I just think that it was like we talked about last time, there was still a lot of cultural exchange going on, and people knew about each other's movies. And it was like the power of the youth scene in any generation, you really should not be underestimated. Like the youth are astoundingly willing to, climb mountains for a cool concert. Like, even though this movie wasn't super terribly successful, it was still like critically approved of. People thought it was cool, So I just don't think it took very long for word to make it back to Florence Stoker, who was really protective of her late husband's property. And it's not until she dies in, I think, the 30s that people start getting a little braver about these copies of Nosferatu that they've squirreled away, and eventually nobody cares anymore, and like everything's in public domain, and so we get complete prints of it. First vampire movie long before Dracula, and it's cool.
But after the book Dracula, which is like
for sure
90s.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yes, and it's cool. It's a cool movie. It's not. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what kind of scary this movie is, because it's not exactly like, this is a lot of German expressionism is psychological horror. It's not.
It's a mood.
It's a mood. Yeah. And so, and I think it's like, I think it's easy to look back on movies like this and sort of forget about their original impact because they're so ubiquitous now, Like a lot of theorists, after this movie comes out and further on, are really, really interested in this movie because of what they think it says about death and what this technology, film and photography before it, says about death, and how death was just like this constant occupant in the minds of people all over Europe when these technologies were being developed. When Nosferatu is made, we're still kind of in the era of this like pure spectacle as entertainment. I should know how to pronounce this, but I can't. The Grand Guignol, I want to say. Do you know how to pronounce this? Grand Guignol, I think it is. Guig
what?
Nol.
Oh,
it's
this
French.
Is not. You're not spelling grand. Okay.
I didn't think you needed me to tell you how to spell grand.
I was worried. I was legitimately worried I was having a stroke. I think that's pronounced Guignol.
Guignol. Okay.
Grand Guignol.
So this is a French theatrical tradition where it would just be these like, it's like the kind of the equivalent of torture porn now, where it would just be these like tableaus of horrible shit, happening to people. And that's it. That's nothing else happens beyond that. This is what, there's a film scholar called Tom Gunning who calls this a cinema of attraction, which is like all over the place in the Victorian era and the early film era. It's these events that are designed to just occupy your attention. It's like pre-narrative, but there is no narrative structure at all. Film and photography, well, photography less, but film for sure, and its precursors, the Nickelodeons and whatever, like these were kind of seedy, These were not considered like high art, and that's, I mean, by another token, that's kind of cool because you can, play around with it and see what it might be. But film as a technology did still have kind of an uncomfortable association at the time with death. Like one of the things that happened with photography as soon as it was invented is it was immediately adopted into that memento mori thing people started doing, where photography was so expensive and took so long that they would only use it if someone had died so that you could preserve the impression of this person. But like the material result of that was that there were just like reams of photographs of dead people.
No, thank you.
Yeah, the idea that you could preserve the image of something after it was gone was wild to people.
Yeah.
And it kind of fundamentally altered everybody's understanding of their own mortality, So the horror involved in Nosferatu is not so much the story being scary because the story by this point is a couple generations old. It's rooted in these fears of immigration, of these rich Eastern foreigners who are gonna come to your nice Christian nation and buy up all your real estate and seduce your women and ruin all the culture or whatever. But that's not what Nosferatu is about. Nosferatu is about the plague. Nosferatu is the bird of death that it's like who's like described in all these sort of force of nature type terms, who's surrounded by rats and who looks awful. Like, this is not a sexy vampire in any way. So I think that's pretty interesting. Another thing that's happening in these early German Expressionist movies is, and we talked about this a little bit with Caligari and Krakauer's opinion of it, how it's like reflective of the like subconscious German desire for a dictator. I think that's a stretch, but there is a sort of theme in these movies from this time and from this place that all of the evil in the world are because of the machinations of one guy. So I've been reading this very grim book called Snuff, Real Death and Screen Media. It's a academic text, and one of the authors, I was reading this yesterday, and synchronicity. She started talking about German Expressionism and Nosferatu. So Linda Badley, who is a film professor somewhere, I think, spends a lot of time talking about this in her chapter. And she says, the carnivalesque distortions of the film's surface often projected the vision of a tyrannical and murderous madman, blurring distinctions between a key stage managing character, Caligari, Mephisto, Rotwang, etc., and the director himself. So the medium itself seemed murderous. Like, there's something about film itself that is like creepy, and that's kind of the tone setter for the rest of film throughout the early 20th century.
One of the thoughts I had while watching this movie, which I did not think about when watching Dr. Caligari, is that every single thing, everybody that we see and everything that we see and everyone who worked on this film has been dead for like 50 years. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's crazy to me.
It is crazy. It's weird. And
I don't like it.
It's weird to think about.
It's uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable. And I don't think that we've quite reckoned as a global culture that just like enveloped this technology into how we communicate with each other, what effect that has on us.
Yeah.
And I think this will be really important to how, future historians and political theorists talk about the Trump era, where there are several ways in which what's happening right now is a mirror of the early 20th century. But one of the ways in which this occasion, this political era is very different is that everything MAGA does is for a camera. It's always a performance. And that, obviously the fascists and the Soviets and the Americans, like everybody was trying to figure out as fast as they could what kind of propagandistic purposes they could turn mass media into. But MAGA doesn't even understand that as a goal. It's just enculturated into their daily habits. The thing that they are is whatever they are imagining is projected onto a screen. And that is so weird. That didn't used to happen. It was not the assumption that every single thing you did would be recorded forever. It wasn't even like people didn't know what most of their governing officials looked like. That's nuts.
Yeah.
So
that's a very good point. Uncomfortable. There's a cat in the beginning. It's really cute.
There is a cute little kitty in the beginning who...
It's been dead for 90 years.
And the cat is in the new version, too.
Yeah, there is a cat in the new version. It's not as cute.
It's not a kitten.
Well.
It's just a big cat.
Whose fault is that? I liked how fucking insane Canuck looked. He looks, in the new version, and we'll talk about it imminently, in the new version, he gets to that point.
Right.
But in the original version, he's like, right off the bat.
Instantly.
Right, it's one of the things that, like, I think last time we talked about techniques that you do in silent film that you don't really need to do in talkies, which is like I think physical archetypes are much stronger in silent film.
Oh yeah.
Where they are out of necessity. Like it's not that they can't be in talkies, it's just that they're not cuz like I don't know.
Well, also
so,
we're,
like,
again, sort of transitioning from narrative drama as being dominated by theater and going into film. And so, a lot of these acting styles are sort of playing for the back seats.
Yeah. And so someone like Canuck right away immediately looks fucking psychotic because his
he can't stop laughing.
Because his character is fucking crazy. And then like Hutter right away looks like the sweetest little idiot you'll ever see. Because like that's his character and they're not able to communicate that through sound, so it has to be like his big dumb smile and him just like walking around like a happy little dumbass all over the place. And then like what's her name? Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
Ellen, Ellen's like the worried girl, so she's always like I'm doing a really great facial expression. You can't see it.
Yeah, Gus is doing like the uwu face, the uwu emoji.
But not as cringy. I'm never cringe. I'm always awesome. And I really like that.
I mean, it's all part of like, constructing this atmosphere of, I don't know, there's something like darkly comedic that is also brought into the new one where it's like, this guy is clearly a vampire, And
Orlok?
Yeah. This guy is clearly a vampire. Knock is obviously not okay. And Hutter just keeps going through the motions and being polite to everybody anyway.
Because he's a dumbass. He's a stupid little cutie pie. The dog that appears outside the inn.
That is an aardwolf.
An aardwolf.
Yeah. In fact,
I was so confused. I thought it was like a hyena.
There's a hyena in Dracula. The same scene. They do the same scene.
That's a hyena?
Yeah. Yeah. It's supposed to be, in this one, it's supposed to be him. I think he's like shape-shifting.
It is?
I think that's definitely the implication in Dracula.
The aardwolf is not native to Transylvania.
Oh God, no, it's an African creature. In fact, we talked a little bit about the aardwolf in I think The Lion King. It's a weird little dog who eats only bugs.
Is that why it's called an aardwolf? Because it's like an aardvark?
I don't know. Maybe. I hadn't thought about it, Gus.
What is an aardvark?
Little guys who eat ants.
I don't think they're taxonomically related, but they do live. The aardvark and the aardwolf's areas overlap in Africa, so that's cool. Where I'll never go because I'm not going to be a diplomat. Devastating. They mention a werewolf, the townspeople.
Yeah, they do.
So I thought that's pretty cool. That's pretty fun. Lore. There's this moment when Ellen is starting to get the sleepwalky bits where they do this like really incredible reverse shot between Nosferatu and her. I don't know if you remember that part. It was really cool.
I don't.
And I have not seen that in any other movie except for The Last Jedi by Rian Johnson.
What's so special about it?
It's just cool. It's like, I think because the normal movie film, TV watcher's brain is so used to shot reverse shots that when you do that kind of shot, but they're in two extremely different locations, it's just like, wow.
Is this the one where he's in the door?
He's in the door, like he's like talking with Hutter, or he's there with Hutter, like on his bed on the left side of the screen, and then Ellen's sort of in her fits.
Okay. Yeah.
It keeps going back and forth. And it's really cool. It's a great little shot. And then I really loved how every time Ellen went into a sleepwalk or went into a trance, she put her arms up like a mummy. I was like, wow. Old school.
Yeah.
Very fun. Those are my notes for this movie.
Do I have any that I haven't mentioned? No, that's what I got.
This episode is brought to you by Mariana's cool new Nebula partnership. It's actually not technically brought to you by that because she's not paying me, although somebody told me that she's gonna order food to be delivered to my apartment. What? That's a joke.
I'm not doing that.
We're supportive. We're friends. It's also brought to you by if you're in Los Angeles on August Thursday, August 6th, and you want to go see a mediocre horror short film that I made, come to the LA Shorts Festival at the Lemley NoHo for the 10 p.m. block.
That was my Lemley.
It's a great Lemley. I
I
like that
know.
Lemley a lot. I'm excited
Oh my God.
to see my short
to
and
walk
then a bunch
there.
of much better shorts. I'll probably be in the middle in terms of quality, but it's
Probably.
very fun. It's cool. Do that. And it's also brought to you by our wonderful patrons. And we have a few new ones. I don't remember if those ones I've mentioned already, but I'll start from the top. Shay Stone, Scipio the Jumping Spider, Ruth Shelton, Ava Islam, Brooks Gouldsby? That doesn't sound familiar. And then I think we already said Darcy McCusker, and I'm pretty sure we already said Flowers. So I'm going to stop now. Thank you to you, several new people. You're great. You're so great. I hope you enjoyed hearing your name. You're welcome. Let's talk about the new, I'm going to say that again. Let's talk about the new Nosferatu from 2024. So
Okay.
What happened in 2024? Guess what? You remember. I'm not going into it. That's 2 years ago.
We were
Are you
all
kidding me?
here.
Yeah. What did happen in 2024? Oh my God, Trump won.
Yeah.
That was
Everybody was really upset about it.
That was a rough year, dude.
Yeah. Well, not everybody was really upset about it.
Yeah. In the world of film, the top grossing movies of 2 years ago: Inside Out 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, Moana 2, Despicable Me 4, and Wicked.
It was not a good year for movies.
No.
Wicked was good.
Yeah. Deadpool and Wolverine we saw together.
Deadpool and Wolverine was also good.
And then we recorded the proto version of this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it took like another fucking year to convince you, and you moved out of the state. Nosferatu was 32nd most top grossing movie. What's crazy is like reading through that list, like most of those movies I remember and was familiar with. So a lot of movies. Here's a synopsis of Nosferatu 2024. It's mostly the same, but it's a little different. So I'm going to run through it. So Ellen, it opens on Ellen as this like young teen, still played by Lily Rose Depp, who like prays for a friend, and that awakens this weird psychic connection with Nosferatu. That prologue kind of ends with him like psychically sucking the blood out of her chest in the garden. And also I think she's a little naked.
She's a little naked, I think.
She's a little naked. And so, this movie really getting that sex metaphor out of the way right off the bat. And then it cuts to several years later. Ellen is now married to Nicholas Hoult, who is a real estate guy in the town of Visburg. Same deal.
He's a great. I like that he's embracing his typecasting as a lovable dumbass.
I wrote Nick Hoult looks correct in old timey clothes.
He does.
Yeah, it's good that he's an actor, because imagine if Nicholas Hoult was like a cashier at a Tesco's, and he would walk in and he would be like, "What do you?
You seem out of place.
Did you find a time machine? What are you doing? Shouldn't you be dying from the plague right now?" It's my type 5 on Nicholas Hoult. He's sent to the unnamed country of Transylvania to sell a house to Count Orlok. It's unnamed because they don't say it out loud, but then they point to a map, and the map says Transylvania on it. To sell a house to Count Orlok by Herr Knock, his boss. Nicholas Hoult arrives in this like Roma village near Orlok's castle and is shunned by the locals when he mentions that he's going to see Orlok. He wakes up at night and he goes outside and he sees there's this like really fucking weird ritual where the locals they've tied up a naked virgin on a horse. It awakened something in me. And they bring her to a graveyard.
It seems to me like the virgin on the horse is like
wants to be there.
Oh yeah,
it's not like she's been selected.
Yeah,
or
they don't do anything to her. She's okay. She's fine.
Yeah, she's fine.
But it seems to me like the whole point is that the naked virgin on the horse like leads them to some kind like a bad
leads
grave.
them to the vampire.
Yeah, that like the horse orients itself. I don't know.
Okay, so there's
one of us is right.
What happens? There's a naked virgin on a horse. At some point, they come across a grave with a vampire in it, potentially. They disinter. Is that the word? Unter.
You had it right
Whatever.
the first time.
They disinter the coffin and they stab the vampire through the chest with an iron stake, and the vampire like vomits blood in one of like only 2 jump scares in the movie. And then Nicholas Hoult goes gasp, and everyone turns and looks at him, and then he wakes up in bed, but his boots are muddy. No one will take him to Count Orlok's castle, so he travels on foot. And then at some point, this like ghostly carriage with no driver
it's
picks
such
him
a
up.
good sequence.
It's quite a good sequence.
Beautiful.
Picks him up and takes him to the castle. There's a really cool moment where as he's walking into the carriage, and at a certain point he stops walking and he starts floating, but we don't see that he floats because it's, you know, his legs are cut off in the framing of it. So it's just that he stops bouncing like with his trot, and it's just really cool. This movie, and I'll talk about this more later, this movie looks so good that I forgot to pay attention to it. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, and I don't think that, and I think that's like, in that way, is a very good adaptation. You know?
I agree. Let's talk about it more in a second when I'm done with the synopsis. There's the same creepy stuff when Hoult meets Orlok, the classic finger cut temptation, because Orlok is a vampire. There's this really cool like hypnosis thing going on where it'll be like one take, and Orlok will like, you know, be way in the background and go off, you know, camera left, and then the camera will pan over, and then he's like right there next to Nicholas Hoult.
It's very cool. It's not
it's
like
really well done. It's my favorite depiction of hypnosis that I've seen in a movie, I think.
I love it because it's so reliant on the audience's assumption of how film grammar is supposed to work. Like it's you know, usually when you're trying to film some kind of creature that can teleport or whatever, and that shows up in unusual places, like you're depending on the audience's kind of mental map of the room as it is, you know, and like, oh, they shouldn't be there because they're supposed to be here, but that's not what he's doing at all. Like he's manipulating the camera itself in order to make you feel like this weird, you know, discombobulation. So cool.
It's very good. Anyway, Hoult tries to leave, finds out Orlok is a vampire, and then falls out a window into a river and dies, or so we think. Or so we think. Because then we cut back to Ellen for a while. One of the big changes in this movie compared to the original is that Orlok and Ellen have like, Orlok wants Ellen specifically, and so like Canuck sends Hutter specifically at the request of Orlok. So the plan for Orlok was always to get to Ellen. Anyway, Ellen's having a real rough time. She's like hearing Orlok's voice. She's having seizures. She's doing weird prophecies. And then we see that the old boss, Canuck, is fucking insane. He is locked up in an asylum for killing and eating a sheep raw. And then when we see him crazy, there's this like great scene where he's like petting a pigeon, and you think he's gonna eat the pigeon's head, but he's just petting the pigeon, and then he eats the pigeon's head. And they do a really, really good Texas switch on that pigeon, because that's a live bird at the beginning of the scene, and it is not when he bites the head off, because that's illegal to do that. Just really, really solid prop work, great framing.
And that I don't know who that actor is, but he's so perfectly he looks just like the original Herr Canuck.
Yeah, he's good. Nosferatu 2024 cast. Simon McBurney.
Well done, Simon McBurney.
Bernie. He went to Cambridge. Oh, and he went to Clowns. He went to Ecole Philippe Gallier.
Aww.
Nice one.
Well.
Oh, he's a very, very prominent British actor. Did you ever watch The Conjuring 2?
I did.
He played Maurice Grosse.
Means nothing to me.
Okay.
Conjuring.
Did you ever watch? He was in the 2010 Robin Hood. He was in the 2007 Golden Compass. He was in The Last King of Scotland.
Who was he in the Golden Compass?
Fra Pavel.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He looked a little more fit back then.
Seems like the British acting tradition is the acting industry, I guess. It's different.
It's so much better. I think I have a theory why, which is that like almost I was in London like 6 years ago, 7. I was in London like 7 years ago, just because I had quit my job and hadn't spent enough time in Europe. And like every pub I went to had a little theater upstairs.
Aww.
And every little theater upstairs had like some local show that was like £2 to get into.
That's so cool.
Or free. So there's just like a lot of it, and I think the art is respected there on its own merits and not like as a way, and not like for something for influencers to do once
Right.
they have 15 million followers and
Yeah.
a producer thinks they can get people to watch their movie. So he's crazy. Meanwhile, Orlok sets sail on a boat. By being in a coffin, he eats the crew. Ellen's doctor finds Willem Dafoe, who figures out that Ellen is possessed basically by Orlok. And there's a much more explicit, like, demonic connection in this movie. Orlok arrives via the boat crashing into the dock, which is filled with rats. Holt is alive, and he makes his way back to Visberg. There's a bunch of dying. Aaron Taylor Johnson's wife and kids are eaten in a pretty horrifying scene.
It is horror. Yeah, it's one of
Oh my
the
God.
only like truly rough to watch sequences. It's it's dark.
Yeah. And then he kills himself with the plague by kissing his dead wife. Because also Orlok is like giving people plague.
Yes.
And is not just like with like the people he eats die of exsanguination and also plague. It's a great word. I'm so glad I used it. Holt comes back to Visberg, and then Ellen is like, oh, I have a connection with Orlok, and he's in this building, and if you go now, you can kill him. But then that was a trick, because it turns out Willem Dafoe had told her basically what she read in the first movie, that she's so hot that Orlok will be distracted, because she's not a virgin, because we see him have sex a bunch of times.
I don't know about
3 or 4 times.
like
She's
once. Once or twice.
No, at least twice.
I think
This
just
is
once.
This is.
I think
this
just once.
is-
It's just the scene is so protracted that it feels like it goes
This-
on forever.
This is the horniest 18th century couple. I'm sorry, 19th century couple I have ever seen on screen
Good for
outside of
them.
pornography.
It's refreshing.
I'm happy for them too. I enjoyed that depiction.
Aaron Taylor Johnson and his wife are into each other also, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah. Really great, like, relationship goals. If you're really dedicated to, like, the public-private sphere, like, at least be into each other. So Orlok eats her, and then he forgets that it's morning, and then he dies.
Yep.
And then
And that scene
this
is
like
so
the-
beautiful. It's so good.
Yeah,
The
it's really
the
nice.
Orlok death shot. Oh, it's so good. I'm sure it was whatever CG completed that shot is so properly incorporated into
Yeah.
whatever was practically there, and it's just it's beautiful, Oh, it looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
So this movie, Nosferatu, was always Eggers' movie. It was announced back in 2015 as his second film. His first film, of course, The Vivitch, with Anya Taylor-Joy.
It's The Witch.
It's The Vivitch. If it was The Witch, then it would be spelled W-I-T-C-H. It is spelled V-V-I-T-C-H.
I've had this
I'm kidding, I know
conversation
it's-
so many times.
I know it's The Witch. Didn't you? But like, what about that movie Mithrigan, or like the David Fincher film Sesevenin, or Mithrigan 2, or what's another one? Fanforstic. I don't. It's my. It's my. I don't like when people stylize titles so much
I
that
agree.
it's a different thing, and I
agree.
and I make it known.
I excuse it for The Witch because that's a
Yeah,
period
it's
thing.
cool as shit.
It's cool
Yeah,
as
of
shit,
course.
and that the W didn't exist back then. So
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's like calling a movie about Julius Caesar, Julius. Like, it works. Because the U and the V was the same letter back in the day. And one, much like the Y, one was a vowel and one was a consonant. Oh, it's originally going to be his second movie. And he actually, like, he was interviewed about it. And he was like, yeah, it does feel kind of fucked up that a movie that profound and important is some dumbass's second film. Is more or less what he said. I zhuzhed it up because I like saying dumbass, but
that's not completely out of keeping with how Robert
Yeah.
Eggers talks about his own work.
Yeah.
He's one of those artists who's like really he's really self-critical.
the director's commentary on the witch
exactly.
I've heard.
I hate this shot.
I've not seen it.
It's the worst shot in the movie.
It's like a gorgeous lingering landscape shot with the characters in the
grass
foreground.
is too green in this shot. I hate it.
It's incredibly composed. He's like, this fucking goat is actually like an Asian subspecies, and they never would have had it here, but it just looked so devilish. He's great.
He's one of the few auteurs we have right now.
Yeah.
You know, he's special.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be like he's going to be. You know, I don't know if he's going to be like FW or now important.
There's nobody else.
There's just so few directors that are just utterly in control of their own work and have been from the beginning. Like this, that's not even the case for like Ryan Coogler had to do a bunch of for thems, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know what demon Robert Eggers sold his soul to in order to just have like a good filmmaking career.
I don't know either. He had two shorts. In like 2007, 2008, or 2008, 2009. And he had one more short come out like alongside or right after The Witch. But The Witch was only made for $4 million.
Yeah.
And I think what happened is his first career, he was working he did like theater tech or something on Broadway. So I think he impressed somebody enough with the Vitch script to just get that funding, because they shot it in Canada or something, right? Like very close to where he would have preferred to shoot it, which was Massachusetts. And it's very cheap, and it's extremely good. And it's like, we'll see if hopefully Curry Barker can replicate some of that in his next movies. Because when you do something really... Anyway, he's great. He's such a good director. Anyway, originally, Anya Taylor-Joy was attached to play Ellen, which is obvious.
Yeah.
Because Lily Rose Depp is doing an Anya Taylor-Joy impression.
Yeah, she is. She's good. I really like her in this movie. She is acting.
We disagree. And Harry Styles was attached to play Hutter, which in my notes I wrote ? Exclamation point, ? Exclamation point. So that's my opinion on that. Nosferatu and Dracula had been like an obsession of Eggers's all the way back in high school. He wrote with a friend of his a stage adaptation.
Oh, interesting.
Of I think the original movie.
So this is something I don't want to like walk all over whatever you're about to say or your train of thought, but like I wondered if you found anything in your research of why he was interested in Nosferatu, not Dracula.
No.
Okay.
I think he was also interested in Dracula, but I think it was like just that he's clearly an extremely visually focused guy.
He's a stylist.
Just going off of his work. And he used to do like set design, right? In like theatrical set design. Like he's very image focused, and so to me, like Nosferatu is the first movie Dracula. It makes sense that like that's the thing, Plus, Dracula as a film character is universal. Yeah. Right? Like, I think they don't own Dracula, but it's like they kind of do. Here's something crazy that I learned. That Count Orlok's voice, not digitally altered.
Skarsgård, Bill Skarsgård is like just a once in a generation horror actor. He is so fucking good in everything he does. His character work is...
That's his real voice. It's
so good.
Part of why this movie got made is because they got him attached.
That makes sense, yeah.
I think, and after it came out.
Yeah, which we will talk about later in this season.
Yeah. In this season, which is called, of course, Once More Hiding in the Closet down the hall with a bloody knife while your friends are screaming and getting murdered in the living room. I think actually this season is called Once More with Screaming. You suggested that, and I didn't get it.
You didn't get it?
I didn't get it.
Oh
I was
God.
like, well, because I think you texted it to me.
Yeah, someone in the comments came up with it. I can't take credit for that.
Oh, okay. And I didn't say it out loud. And then when I said it out loud, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Once More with Screaming. We're going to have to figure out something else for our monster season.
Yeah. Once More with Universal Screaming. Oh, yeah. It came out in 2017.
Yes.
Anyway, so they got Bill Skarsgård on board, and then the money came in. you know. So Bill Skarsgård, he worked with an Icelandic, Norwegian opera singer named Dan, keep in the silence, please. Asgaror Juniusdóttir.
Gus is doing a finger steeple right now.
So he worked with that opera singer who is a woman, and I know that because of her last name. And he learned how to do Mongolian throat singing to develop that voice. Mongolian
wild.
throat singing, for those who don't know, is a very rare talent where people are able to, like, normally when you talk, you have the one tone. Mongolian throat singing produces two tones from your voice.
Yeah, you can harmonize with yourself.
It's fucking crazy.
It's insane. It sounds
It's
really
crazy.
weird.
So he did that, like, for this voice.
By
which,
weird, I mean awesome. The Mongolian
Yeah.
throat singing is great.
It's so cool. Movie did pretty well. It was $182 million worldwide against a $50 million budget, which we like to see for interesting, well-done movies like that. Critics, big fans for the most part.
Yeah.
Esther, how do you pronounce Esther? Ether?
Buddy.
Esther?
It's Esther.
Esther Zuckerman for Bloomberg said, quote, "It gives the Nosferatu tale back some of the power that it has lost over countless representations." Soren Anderson for the Seattle Times liked it and said, "It's not the best Dracula movie of all time, though it aspires to that. Murnau's original still leads the pack, but it certainly is the most stylish." Carrie Darling for the Houston Chronicle said, "Fans of contemporary jump scare horror may be disappointed, and Nosferatu isn't particularly scary, but Eggers has created an enveloping mood that is hard to shake." Kyle Smith of the Wall Street Journal said, "It fully lives up to the subtitle of the 1922 original, A Symphony of Horror." And then a couple critics didn't like it, such as Peter Rayner for LAist, which is basically LA NPR. It was one of those. He said, "Eggers is trying to do something different than the other movies, but in a sense, he's playing into the same overwrought scariness. The film could use a lot more lightness, if you will." And I put that in there specifically because
you
I
knew it'd
thought
make me
that
mad?
I knew it would make you mad, and I was hoping you would jump in by now and be like, "What the fuck is he talking about?"
I was pulling up my own review for it because I reviewed this movie.
Oh, what did you say?
Well, I put this in it was number 5 in my best of 2024 list. Let's see. Let's pull a quote here.
Pull a quote from one of the two podcast members.
I said, Eggers' version reintroduces this aesthetic to the 21st century along with, it has to be said, the rigidly gendered assumptions baked into its story. The success of a remake depends on whether its theme remained relevant, and Nosferatu's unfortunately do. I think it's pretty clear that Eggers is approaching this critically, but that doesn't mean everyone in its audience will be prepared to understand this. And then I put in parentheses, David Ehrlich's favorable review said it, quote, "draws a spellbinding power from the friction it finds between historical social mores and the eternal human thirsts they exist to keep in check." What the fuck? That's such a dumb thing to say.
Yeah. It's so dumb I forgot immediately what he said. Can you say that one more time?
He said this movie draws a spellbinding power from the friction it finds between historical social mores and the eternal human thirsts they exist to keep in check. So basically he's saying that all of the sort of repression of the Victorian era is there so that people don't act like Ellen, which is...
Why wouldn't you want to act like Ellen? She's having a great time.
She's the hero of the story.
Yeah, until a fucking man comes along and sucks the life out of her.
And then I said, still, there's no doubt that we're replaying, and this is why I like this movie a lot. And I had quite a few arguments with people about what it's doing and how and why. And so I'll just read the rest of my review. Still, there's no doubt where we were replaying the same social anxieties that gripped the public in the late 19th century in ways that have just been repackaged. though we so often consider them antique. These anxieties are what Nosferatu feeds on as a monster and as a film. Plagues are newly terrifying. Medical institutions are newly suspicious. Social status, superficial manners, and cultural mishandlings of sexuality are newly disrupting our capacity for intimacy, driving our need for connection into destructive and dangerous territories. Most importantly, wealth means something new, though we don't yet seem to know what. Vampires in the post-war and neoliberal eras have centered around an assumed equivocation between the attractiveness and danger of opulent riches. Egger's Nosferatu brings the original vampire back and underscores its most provocative idea that wealth and power are actually extractive and parasitic, simultaneously in unnatural stasis and active decay, and, more than anything, deeply unsexy. I think this is a really good movie.
Yeah.
And I think that like I remember when it came out, there was a lot of very online discourse about how this movie is misogynistic, that the way it frames Ellen as this grooming victim, or alternatively somebody who has invited this malignance into her psychic life, kind of frames her as responsible for the whole thing. And it's like an aspect of people's horror literacy that is just so baffling to me. We had a brief conversation about this on the Discord server a couple weeks ago with Obsession, because a lot of people are making similar accusations about Obsession, that it's misogynistic. And I really, I wonder about some people when they sit in front of these movies and watch them. Are they aware that this is a horror movie?
I have a hot take. Here's my hot take. This might be lukewarm, but I don't go on social media, so for me, it's hot. I did a lot of Title IX training when I was a TA at UCLA, and a big part of Title IX training is like intent behind the action doesn't matter, which is like correct when it comes to interpersonal interactions. When it comes to artistic expression, that's not correct. Exactly. And like, there's a lot of people who are well-meaning, who when like something bad happens on screen to a woman are like, well, that's just misogyny, you know? And that's not right.
No, it isn't.
That's incorrect.
And I get people's concern about that, because it is still worrying about this kind of went out of fashion for a couple decades. But I think there are legitimate concerns to be had about how what people are watching with their eyes and hearing with their ears affect the way that they think about things. I understand. You know, but to me, it's very clear that is a matter of literacy. You would not put Moby Dick in front of a 7th grader and be like, figure it out. You know, like, people need to be taught how to ingest art.
Or learn how to do it.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, you know, people need to acquire whatever education is necessary to understand that art is not real life. And I think that I think at its worst, I have given the sort of benefit of the doubt to that attitude, and now I will say what it is at its worst, which is just another version of this whole realism pathology that we talked about all throughout season 1, where people expect their movies to just be real life. It's not. It's fucking Nosferatu, okay? It like, horror ends when the worst thing happens. The worst thing happens, and then the movie is over. And that's the story. That's not how real life works out.
No.
So we need to be thinking about this in terms of what it's trying to say about Ellen's state of mind and the kind of... She's clearly suffering from some kind of self-destructive mental illness. What is it saying about her ability to manage that? And what is it saying about what situations like that, like those kinds of mental illnesses that cause delusions, that cause self-destruction, how do you manage that? Like, sometimes you just don't. Sometimes you just don't for a long time. Sometimes you die, you know? Like, I understand that that's like a touchy thing to consider, but that's what horror is for, you know? Horror is so that we can think about the worst possible things that happen to people in a way that is empathetic.
Horror is true crime but then like you don't have to worry about that actually happening to you.
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
Yeah.
you get to think about it abstractly, you know? You get to think about it in terms of what it means instead of just its immediate effects on your body. And I think that's extremely important for people to be able to do. I think that it is crucial to the development of people's empathy that we be able to sit with horrific facts of life and understand them as a part of the world. Yeah, so that's my horror literacy tangent, I guess.
Good tangent. Good tangent.
I am.
That's what the people want.
Let's talk about some differences between the original and the new one.
Okay.
I am super interested in the development of Count Orlok as a character and how he is this sort of force of nature corpse that just brings disease and destruction everywhere he goes, and he doesn't really have he is all appetite. And the new one does that also, but the new one, it's different, and it's different in a good way. There was a lot of a lot of discourse about whether the mustache was a good addition or not, because it Eggers kind of fucks up the sort of iconic Nosferatu silhouette.
Yeah.
I like it. And I think
it's I'm sorry for interrupting right there, but it feels like there's a lot more built out like in the original Nosferatu is there.
Yeah.
And he just is, which is scary in its own way. And in this one there's very much like a history.
Oh yeah.
With the way that he dresses like a Slavic lord,
like a noble, yeah.
500 years ago. And he talks. One of the things I saw was that when he talks, they use like an old dialect of Dacian to have that. So it's like there's that implied history of like he was a person.
Yeah.
Nosferatu in the original one was never a person. Nosferatu is like who he
yeah,
is. Like,
he's a being.
Is. And then new Count Orlok became this somehow. And so you're seeing the end result of hundreds of years of just like,
and he
whatever.
He insists upon being addressed the proper way. He makes a big show of paying Hutter in order to it's like as soon as Hutter gets the idea of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be here, maybe I should just go, because this isn't right, this doesn't feel right. That's when he brings out the big fucking chest of gold and is like, oh, durst I not forget your commission, and pulls out all this money to give to him. I think it's so interesting how much, in comparison with the original, how concerned this version is with wealth and its appearance.
And procedure.
Yeah.
There's
and
that part even at the beginning, like when with Knock, where he's like, could it not be this way? Or I forget exactly what it is, but he's like, do I have to go? Like, can't
we just mail it to him?
Can't he just come? Like,
yeah.
If he's getting this house, can't he just come and buy it? And Knock's like, no, that's not the way it's done. Great theme, great addition.
When Hutter is telling Orlok about the weird things the Roma were doing in the forest, and Orlok is like, oh, the old traditions. And I wrote down the line because I think it's so good. He says, how I look forward to retiring to your city of a modern mind who knows nothing nor believes of such morbid fairy tales. And it's like, he's...
That line, pretty good. Hits so fucking hard if you're Mongolian throat singing at the same time.
You gotta watch it just for Bill Skarsgård's voice. It's so crazy.
It's really
but
good.
He's like, every step of the way, as soon as Hutter gets a little too suspicious, he knows exactly what to say. And what to say is an appeal to procedure, an appeal to manners, an appeal to politeness. That like, oh, no, don't worry. I may look like a horrible parasitic vampire, but actually I'm just this fancy noble guy. And you just don't understand how the nobles do it. You're a glorified peasant. But let me give you this compliment to your modern city that I'm so excited to move to, because you don't do this kind of occult nonsense. And he is occult nonsense. The entirety of Nosferatu is occult nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. It's weird.
It's super good.
Yeah, it's super good. Oh, here's a complaint I have. The fucking Chiron Sorry, let me make sure that this is historically accurate before I complain about it. Yeah. The Chiron says Germany, 1838. Excuse me? Germany? What did you mean? Prussia? Do you mean Bavaria? Germany did not exist in 1838, and that's eliminating the hundreds of thousands of people who died during German unification wars and the Franco-Prussian War. That's bullshit, and I expect someone who does history as well as Eggers to be better in the future. Technically, there was a German Confederation, but that's horse shit.
It was a meme after this
that.
came out, how inexcusable it is for Eggers to include the sound of a loon in one of the scenes. Loons don't live in Germany.
I want to hear his director's commentary to see if he's
See if he talks about it.
This used to be Prussia and fucking I don't know who produced this or who distributed this. Fucking Paramount was like, no one's gonna know who Prussia is, and they made me put Germany in. I'm so upset. I hope that's what it says.
Oh, we were going to talk about Lily Rose Depp and how we disagree on her performance.
Oh, I wrote halfway through this movie, or once the movie kind of switches focus to her, I'm like, Lily doing her best Keira Knightley impression. I see.
Keira Knightley impression?
Oh yeah.
How?
The whispery, semi-British, oh, it's kind of.
I do not think that Keira Knightley owns that performance style.
I don't think she owns it either, but I saw Pride and Prejudice one time when I was younger, so all waifish British women are Keira Knightley to me. Thank you.
You're not making your point very well.
She's American.
Yes.
You can tell.
Yes.
Because, no offense to her, I don't think it's her fault. I have been looking for an acting class in LA because I like acting. I don't want to be an actor. I break all the time. I panic when I'm in front of a camera, but I like the art and I like the procedure. I have been looking for 3 years. Every fucking class I find, it's not an acting class. It's a how do you land an audition class? What are casting directors gonna want to see?
God. Ugh.
The only acting class that I'm aware of is the Yale School of Drama. And of course, the conservatories. So much of America, and this is a massive oversimplification. Of course, there are many classes that teach acting and they just all advertise as how to get the audition. But it's still what you present into the world is it's a thing. It affects how you approach things. So much of the American acting tradition is how do you get the job?
Yeah.
And then the British tradition is be good at it. Right. Again, massive oversimplification. I'm not
Of course,
an actor.
there are just masterful American actors. Of course.
Yeah, but when you have Skarsgård, who, like you said, is an all-timer horror actor,
and who is
just in terms of embodying
Swedish,
the character, and who is Swedish, and then you have Holt, who is my favorite. He's the very, very rare leading man who is a fucking incredible character actor.
Yeah.
He I have seen him as Peter the Great. I have seen him as Beast from X-Men.
He's such a good Peter the Great. He's the best part of that show. He's so good in that show.
He's amazing. I've seen him as the Beast from X-Men. I've seen him in so many things. He's one of my favorite actors right now. And he doesn't he acts. He gets into the character. And then you have
when he emotes, you believe him. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are so many shots of him being very, 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 very scared in this movie where you're oh no, Nicholas Holt.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
he's so brave.
Was your hand in spiders? For the way it seems to me in my, again, not very acting educated mind is for British actors it's A to B, and it's you just do it. And for American actors it's A to C to B, where that C is and how and let me overthink everything, and then let me go through this whole process, and then but that whole thing makes me see that they're acting.
Yeah.
And it's compare Leonardo DiCaprio, who I think is an excellent actor, to Glenn Powell, who I do not. Glenn Powell is doing the American thing where there's some intermediate step that he's going through that's making that's too obvious. And anyway, I felt like Lily was doing that the whole time, and it wasn't driving me crazy. Like, she's fine, but it's, Anya Taylor-Joy, I think, is quite good sometimes when she's directed very well, and Eggers obviously knows how to direct her very well. So it was just like the whole time I was like, man. So this part was literally written for Anya Taylor-Joy.
It was.
Bummer that. I guess not a bummer. It's tough to like step into. Anyway, she was fine. Like, she was fine, and the rest of the movie was great, and so it sticks out.
Listen, I mean, she emotes the way that you expect from this character. It's, to me, like, man, I'm trying to say this in a way that doesn't sound like I disrespect silent film or disrespect Ellen as a character or this archetype, but this character is very archetypical.
With all those caveats.
Yeah. This character is very archetypical, and I think she's doing that just fine. She is doing her job, and it's not an easy job.
Just fine. Just fine.
Okay. I guess fine. I guess I've revised my assessment down from good to fine, but I still think
functional.
She doesn't
detract.
Me. Not at all.
She doesn't detract from the movie.
Not at all.
I don't think she adds to it that much, in my opinion. In my opinion.
I think it's interesting that this movie did so well. And I think that's like a pretty big testament to Robert Eggers as an artist, as a filmmaker. And, I'm always interested in sort of like the completion of a movie as an event that happens when it actually interacts with an audience, or when an audience interacts with it, and it seems to me that, like, despite how many lukewarm reviews or kind of like sideways glances at certain narrative points of this movie, how well it did, to me it seems like it kind of transcended the whole remake curse of it. Like, people liked it, and there is genuine lasting, like we just talked about, there's genuine lasting interest culturally in Eggers as an artist. It seems like he's going to stick around as an important director historically. And so I think it's interesting to think about why that's the case. Like, what aspects about our culture are making this appealing to him as an artist and society in general, which is why I asked if he had said anything about why he's adapting Nosferatu and not Dracula, considering that they're the same story, that one is clearly a ripoff of the other, To me, I think, and this is so, like, film scholar conjecture. You needn't take this seriously. This is very like, Krakauer talking about Caligari without really necessarily knowing what he's talking about. But to me, it feels like we are simply more like Germany in the 20s than England or America in the 20s. Right now. You know what I mean? Like, the kind of story that appeals to us is not Dracula. It's Nosferatu, because Nosferatu is a vampire story where the vampire is not sexy. The vampire is death. And
well, it's like, what are you supposed to do when your fucking, like, richest people look like our richest people?
Exactly. Oh,
God, be hotter.
It's like people didn't in 2024 feel good about this new aristocracy that's emerged. Vampires for so long, during the latter half of the 20th century were considered sexy because, like, what possible downside could there be to living forever and being young and hot and rich forever?
And then you're like, oh.
It turns out there are many downsides, and all of those vampire movies seemed like they had to, like, make some kind of gesture toward how that would be bad, but they didn't believe it. This movie believes it, and I think that is what was compelling to people, and I think that is what will remain compelling to people in the future about this movie.
I think that's a great point to end it on.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Just wrapped it up in a little bow.
Hell yeah. Thanks so much for listening to... Oh, wait, we got to rank it. Nosferatu, better or worse than Dr. Caligari?
Original?
Yeah.
I think I prefer Caligari.
Interesting. I prefer Nosferatu.
Why?
I like it more.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Remake, better or worse than Caligari?
Better.
Yeah, same. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening to Once More with Feeling. Fucking motherfucker.
Dan, keep that in.
Dan, come on, man. Work with me here.
Dan, put a
podcast
put a little womp womp.
Wah, wah. Thanks for podcast about great original movies and their often not so great remakes, although in this case, quite a good remake.
Quite a good remake.
Oh, wait, before we wrap up, watch both of these movies, but also you should do this thing that we're about to recommend each of us, because we've forgotten the last like 4 times.
We're very good at podcasting. We're professionals.
Yeah.
Our guests are going to be so impressed.
Yeah. What did recommend something?
Oh.
I was cueing you.
Recommend something. Have I seen any? Well, I have. I was going to talk about this with Moana, but I guess I could just bring it up then anyway. If y'all haven't seen The Hunchback of Notre Dame lately, holy shit. It's so good. Go watch that. I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, and I had listened to I listened to the soundtrack, and intermittently in high school and college. It's a classic. It's Alan Menken's best score. But the movie itself, I'm thinking about making a video about it because it's so fascinating. As a Disney movie, it's very good, but also like watching that movie in 2026, it hits super different. I think it's aged pretty well, even considering its racial slurs, So that's my recommendation, Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Okay. My recommendation is the FIFA World Cup. I've tried
Mexico, rip.
I've tried to watch World Cups before. I have been bored. I don't know if it's me or the game or the players, but holy fuck, like some of the games
it's been crazy
this time around. Wow.
Did you see
Cape Verde, Argentina?
Oh my god.
Incredible.
One for the
England,
ages.
Mexico.
Mexico was insane.
Oh my fuck.
We deserved that loss. It was an honorable loss. We put everything on that field.
If you've ever wanted to hate a South American country, Paraguay, France, watch that one.
Ecuador, Mexico. Ecuador was a horrible loser.
Argentina, Egypt today. What? I'm not going to spoil it. Today. On Monday, 2 days ago. On Tuesday, yesterday. What day is it? Incredible. Outstanding. Great games. Incredible games. So much fun. I want to watch soccer now.
Event.
I'm a soccer fan. You might have seen on our Blue Sky. This is now a Cabo Verde appreciation podcast. Shout out to Vozinha, the goalie. Love him. I legitimately want to honeymoon in Cape Verde now.
It's been incredible PR for that little country.
Oh my god. I didn't know it existed
and for
before
Mexico,
now.
everybody fucking loves Mexicans now. The the phenomenon.
It was great PR for the US until the red card got overturned.
Yeah.
It was such. It's so not to badmouth a government that I hope to work for one day, but I guess he won't be in office, so fuck him. We're talking about diplomacy. What a fucking boneheaded, rich kid spoiled rich kid brat move.
This country's so fucking embarrassing.
Just deal with it. Pick yourself up. Fucking work on it. Don't get.
Grab your fucking bootstraps.
Listen, parents. If your kid struggles, you can let them struggle. They'll be stronger for it, and people will appreciate that. If your kid needs you to call your friend and have their suspension overturned in school, they're gonna get teased real bad and then kill themselves when they're 24. I'm really sorry if your child has killed himself at 24.
Gus alienating our audience once again.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Watch World Cup. If you want to support us, we got a Patreon. It's linked in the show notes. If you want to support us without paying anything, guess what? Free membership. You don't get anything, but you can see that when we post things for people who pay. Also, we're on Blue Sky, where I post roughly once a week. Should be more. Instagram, where we post more regularly than that, thanks to my sister. TikTok,
her edits have been
deal.
Awesome.
Her edits, she has improved so much.
They're really good.
We're very happy with her. What else? YouTube, but you if our stats are anything to go off of, this is where you're listening off of. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you're like Gus, you reminded me of my dead kid, you can email us at withfeelingpod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, goodbye.
And, we'll see you next time. Outro
music.